So with the 2022-2023 season edging closer, it's time to take a look at rookies yet again. And the rookie race this year, at least for me, seems a lot more entertaining than past years. Definitely with some of the stuff that is going on with a lot of these rookies. Now, last year I did the same thing. I did my top 10 rookies. I'm not going to go in any order. I'm just giving you 10 rookies that could win the Calder and then give you my 3 finalists and then my basic predictions overall. I remember when I did this last year, I didn't watch the video. I'll probably put it in like a tag or something. It was not good. It really wasn't. I had my Calder winner being Cole Caulfield. I don't even think I had Sider in my top 5. I'm going to be dead honest. I don't think I had Sider in my top 5 at all. I can't remember. It was so long ago, and I don't have the notes in front of me right now. But obviously, I was definitely wrong because Caulfield definitely didn't win the Calder. But yeah, you have 10 rookies here who look really interesting, and you could argue for a couple. There is a couple that I've seen people argue. I've seen majority go towards some. I've seen majority go towards others. But you can't count out some other rookies. And there is definitely 10 different rookies across the league that are coming in this year, whether it's because of the COVID year. It's the first normal year after COVID. A lot of the stuff that we had in past years is being restricted. Like, for example, a few days ago, locker room restrictions were lifted. So obviously now that is a ability now for reporters and stuff. But obviously we're coming into the first normal year after COVID and this and that. So we're going to see some players who got drafted all the way back in 2020 make their starts in this coming season. And maybe even back before that, to be honest. There's a couple, actually no, I think a lot of these are from 2020 and onwards. But anyways, you definitely have a good amount of players here. Starting off with defenseman Owen Power, who was selected by the Buffalo Sabres first overall in 2021. Owen Power is obviously a defenseman and had a great year with Michigan. Had 3 goals, 29 assists for 32 points, and in 33 games played. He played some time with the Sabres. He played 8 games, and he had 2 goals, 1 assist for 3 points. So Power showed some signs of positivity, absolutely, with the Buffalo Sabres. So I definitely think he may transmit that. Playing on that first pairing with Rasmus Dahlin is definitely going to benefit him. Does he win the Calder? Likely not, but he is one of those rookies that comes in as an interesting defenseman. He has some offensive upside to him, but he's also pretty good on the back end as well. He's one of those interesting players there for Buffalo. They definitely will pop up later in this video. So moving on to some of the Kraken prospects, you have Shane Wright. It's being selected by the Kraken 4th overall in this past year's draft. Obviously, that was really controversial. It was ranked first for so many years, and then this year comes Juraj Slafkovsky as an incredible Olympics, and we start thinking Wright or Slafkovsky, and then the Habs pick Wright, and then Wright drops all the way down to 4th overall for the Seattle Kraken, the claim. But nonetheless, it doesn't degrade anything about Shane Wright at all. He still had a great year with the Kingston Frontenacs. He had 32 goals, 62 assists for 94 points in 63 games played. Obviously, Wright's that dynamic center. And with that 1-2 punch for our next Calder candidate, Matthew Beniers, that could be pretty insane. So moving on to Matthew Beniers here. Obviously, he was drafted 2nd overall by the Seattle Kraken in 2021. I previewed him, and I said that guy could be a really good center. It could honestly be a first liner for the Kraken. With the University of Michigan this year, that's going to be a pretty common thing. You're going to see a lot of University of Michigans or just a lot of colleges in general. He had 20 goals, 23 assists for 43 points in just 37 games played. So some pretty good statistics there. He played in the USA, and he had 1 goal, 1 assist for 2 points in 4 games. And then he obviously played some time with the Kraken. He played 10 games and actually almost put up a point per game. He scored 3 goals, had 6 assists for 9 points. So he looked really impressive there for Seattle. And I definitely think that he is one of the favorites for the Calder. I've seen a lot of people push for him in the majority. I think he definitely could win it. He's probably the first one so far where I could say, yeah, he probably honestly is a really good pick. Because, I mean, look at him. He brings the dynamic offense, and he has some good defense to him as well. He looked really good for the Kraken in the short stint he had. So I definitely think that, I mean, if he can carry that from last season, he can definitely put up a lot of points. Moving on here to your first overall pick from this past draft, Juraj Slafkovsky, obviously drafted 1st overall to the Canadiens. In TPSU 20, he scored 6 goals, 12 assists for 18 points in just 11 games played. Now, if it was just those stats alone, Slafkovsky would most likely be around 10th to 15th overall. Nobody really looked at him as a eye-opening player. He was going to be a solid player out of this draft, but he wasn't going to be someone to really be incredible and to remember about. And then he had the Olympics. The Olympics happened where he played with Slovakia, and it was just absolutely incredible. He scored 7 goals, 0 assists for 7 points in just 7 games played. So a goal per game in 7 games. It was very impressive the way he was scoring those goals too. He really made a name for himself in the Olympics for a team that really wasn't meant to really win anything in those Olympics at all. And I mean, he really did produce well and played really good for in the Olympics. And obviously, Montreal selected him over Shane Wright. There's that controversy, and I'm definitely looking forward to when Montreal plays Seattle. I know it's only going to happen twice in the amount of time that they play this season, but I'm definitely looking forward to that. The 2 Calder winners, that's definitely going to be something going on there. Definitely going to be an entertaining game. Moving on here to a player who actually played 2 different seasons, but still hasn't met the Calder eligibility yet. We're looking at Shane Pinto. He was drafted 32nd overall by the Ottawa Senators, and in 2021, he showed some sparks of positivity with the team. He had 1 goal, 6 assists for 7 points in 12 games played. He looked pretty good for Ottawa, definitely, and he looked like he could have some major potential heading into this season. And, I mean, he looked really good heading into 2021-22. He spent some time there. Actually, no, he also played with the University of North Dakota in 2021, where he had 15 goals, 17 assists for 32 points. So he looked impressive in the college realm. So he looked pretty good overall. And then 21-22 came. He played 5 games, had 1 point, and then he got hurt. So unfortunately, we didn't get to see him in the likes of a full season with the Senators. Definitely hoping this season, though, he will be able to perform that. Obviously, Ottawa, and I talked about this in their preview, they are suddenly really deep down the middle. And that's something I've noticed with the Senators. They are really deep down the middle. You got guys like Stützle, you got Norris, you got Pinto, and then you got Giroux, who can also play center as well. So you got a pretty lengthy list of players there who can play center. Pinto most likely plays third line out of the gate, but I think he'll be solid. Maybe not a Calder winner, but I think he'll be a solid rookie overall. Moving on here to Mason McTavish, selected 3rd overall by the Anaheim Ducks in 2021. He did play some time this year with Anaheim, where he scored 2 goals, 1 assist for 3 points in 9 games played. He played some time with San Diego, but then he was eventually sent back to the Hamilton Bulldogs, where he bounced around a little bit in the OHL. I'm not going to include all the stats. I just included the highest one. He had 14 goals, 26 assists for 40 points in just 24 games played with Hamilton that season. He bounced around a lot between a couple different OHL teams. He was bouncing around everywhere. But overall, McTavish played well down there, and then the World Juniors came, and he played absolutely unbelievable. 8 goals, 9 assists for 17 points in 7 games, and that really got the Ducks excited for what is to come. For that team overall, you got Trevor Zegras liking comments from Puck Empire. It was just impressive. The way McTavish was playing, it was incredible. And I definitely think that, he is also definitely one of the favorites for the Calder Cup this year, or the Calder Trophy this year, 100%. Moving on here to a right wing, our first right wing of this Calder Trophy candidate thing. You have Alexander Holtz of the New Jersey Devils. He was drafted 7th overall in 2020. Obviously, Alexander Holtz led the Utica Comets this past season with 26 goals, 25 assists for 51 points in 52 games played. He played some time with the Devils. He played exactly 9 games, didn't really get the stint that he wanted to. He had 0 goals and 2 assists, so obviously he didn't play to the level that the Devils really wanted him to in that little stint, but it's okay. He gets a full season to prove himself. And I don't think he's a Calder winner, but he'll definitely be a solid pick, and I think he's definitely a good up-and-coming right wing for that Devils team. We have 3 more rookies here, moving on to Ken Johnson. Ken Johnson was also one of those players who really impressed in the the World Juniors this past year. He was drafted 5th overall by Columbus in 2021. With the University of Michigan this year, he had 8 goals, 29 assists for 37 points. He looked impressive in there. He went to the Blue Jackets, had 3 assists in 9 games played, looked pretty solid down there. And then in Canada, U20 and the World Juniors, he looked even better with a 3 goals, 6 assists for 9 points in just 7 games played, and he obviously scored the golden goal to win them gold medal in the World Juniors. Very impressive. And Ken Johnson looked really good in those juniors, and I definitely think he could translate that over to Columbus. And, I mean, he could definitely really play well, especially with some of the good things that are going on there in CBJ. Back to Buffalo now. We have Jack Quinn. He was obviously drafted 8th overall in 2020. With the Rochester Americans this year, he didn't lead the team. Jason Peterka actually led the team. I don't have him in here as one of the players who could actually contend for a Calder Cup. Obviously, he is one of those players that could. But anyways, I just didn't include his stats. He had 26 goals, 35 assists for 61 points, and just 45 games played, and that was really impressive. And the fact that he had 61 points in 45 games and Peterka still had more is actually really impressive and really good for Buffalo's future. With the Sabres, he came up and played a little bit. He actually played 2 games and had 2 points. 1 goal and 1 assist, so he looked pretty impressive when he played up there for Buffalo. Definitely going to be one of those players I'm definitely taking a look at heading into this coming season. And last but not least, the one player that I actually included stats for is Jake Sanderson. He was drafted 5th overall in 2020 by the Ottawa Senators. With the University of North Dakota this season, he had 8 goals, 18 assists for 26 points in just 23 games played. Obviously, one of those up-and-coming defensemen for the Ottawa Senators, and they're looking pretty good on that blue line as of right now. Now, those are the 10 I included stats for. I included a couple other rookies here in case if these rookies prove me wrong and they do better than some of the rookies I have listed here. William Eklund for San Jose, drafted 7th overall in 2020. You have Jacob Perreault, drafted 27th overall by Anaheim in 2020. You have Jason Peterka, drafted 34th overall by Buffalo in 2020. You have Bobby Brink, drafted 34th overall by Philly in 2019, so he's making his debut just now. And then obviously Andrei Kuzmenko for the Vancouver Canucks, who went unsigned, or actually, well, he didn't get drafted at all. He just signed with the Canucks a 1-year contract this past year. So technically, he is a rookie. He's a little bit older than some of these guys. He's kind of like the Michael Bunting of this year, I would say, but he's definitely still a rookie. Now, my overall predictions. So, I mean, mine could go either way. I mean, I could honestly see any of these rookies making a good case for the Calder Trophy. A lot of these rookies bring good components. They're really good overall. I like all these rookies as a whole. I actually really enjoy this year of rookies, to be honest with you. So my predictions, my 2 finalists are Mason McTavish and Juraj Slafkovsky. McTavish really impressed me in the World Juniors, and I definitely think he could translate that over to Anaheim. And in the stint that he played with Anaheim, I thought he played really good. So I definitely think that if he plays with the right players, he can definitely make some magic. Juraj Slafkovsky is kind of a bold one, to be honest, because Montreal's not going to be that good of a team this year. I mean, neither is Anaheim, but Anaheim has some solid components to it. With Slafkovsky, he's likely going to play with a guy like Cole Caulfield or somebody like that. He could be a really good, really useful forward for a guy like Caulfield. Could put up like 45 goals if Slafkovsky's just feeding pucks to him. That could be something really impressive there. And then my winner, I mentioned that he's one of the favorites. He's definitely one of mine. Matthew Beniers of the Seattle Kraken is my winner of the Calder Trophy this coming year. Definitely one of those players that looked really good in his stint with Seattle. Looked great in Michigan. Looked great internationally. He just looked great overall. And he looked one of those really impressive players and could honestly be a steal, even though he went 2nd overall in this past year's draft. And overall, I just think he's a really good player. But nonetheless, I like this year for rookies overall. I like all these rookies altogether equally. Some more than others. Just kidding. But anyways, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Let me know who you think is going to win the Calder Trophy this coming season. I definitely could see it going either way. I definitely could see multiple teams winning it. But overall, nonetheless, I'm really excited for what is to come for the Calder Trophy this coming season. But anyways, thank you all for watching. For us personally, I really do appreciate it. We're about 50 subscribers away from 2,000, so it'd be really, really sweet to get there. We're nearing almost 1,000 videos, too. We're kind of moving along the same path line as we are subscribers. It's pretty cool. But anyways, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Adios.